lasted World War II. So it's an introduction. World War II was called the World War II because the second one that included basically the entire world. It included all the great powers, which are basically countries that are capable of having a global impact. And it had the vast majority of all countries in the world involved in it. It's the deadliest human conflict in human history, with estimated 50 to 80 million casualties throughout the entire world. Lasted from 1939 to 1945, and it was the first and only use so far of atomic weapons on Japanese cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Both same month like that. So this is like the who, what, when, where. It started in 1939. Hitler was like the leader of Germany. Hitler was actually a World War I vet. He was a lance corporal in the Austrian army, I think. And he was also a painter. He had recently signed the Molotov-Ribbentrop, also known as the Nazi-Soviet Pact, which was a treaty of non-aggression between Russia and Germany. So it basically said that they wouldn't attack each other, invade each other, and they would protect each other during the war. UK and France were allied with Poland, which is more important later. And the president of the United States was FDR. It was actually on his third term, which was allowed back then. Right after his, they signed the amendment that made it so you can only have two. So the war started with Hitler invading Poland in September 1939. Germany tried to claim that the invasion was an act of self-defense, but France and the UK didn't buy it. And since they were allied with Poland, they declared war on Germany, which basically started World War II. And then the Allies and the Axis forces were formed. The U.S. was still neutral at that time, and they joined later in December 7, 1941. The reason Germany attacked Poland was Hitler had a plan to enslave the Polish and use Poland to house the genetically superior Germans. So here's some of the major war events. I'm just going to talk about Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor was a port that had a lot of the U.S. Air Force and naval ships and planes. 353 Japanese planes attacked it in December 7, 1941. They destroyed 180 U.S. planes, and they killed over 2,000 U.S. citizens and wounded another 1,178. They damaged all 8 of the U.S. battleships that were there. And Japanese only lost 65 of their own soldiers and 29 of
So,
the planes.
Hitler portrayed Stalin in Operation Barbarossa, and he had 4 million Germans rush into Russia to invade it, and it was so far the largest invasion in military warfare. So it consisted of 600,000 motor vehicles and 625,000 horses, and it marked a period of rapid escalation in the war. And Hitler's concentration camps, in 1933, that's when they were first established, and they basically were just made to house Jews, criminals, homosexuals, and Romanians because he didn't like them. And then by the start of World War II, 21,000 people were already in them. And then throughout the war, it just escalated and grew. And there's an estimated 15 to 20 million people that were either killed or imprisoned in the camps. And there were different kinds of camps. There were labor camps, prisoner of war camps, concentration camps, death camps. There's a wide variety of them. And 6 million Jews out of the 9 million living in Europe were killed in them. That's a picture of a gas chamber that was at one of the concentration camps. So a German by the name of Arthur Scherbius, I think it was in the 20s, cracked the Enigma code, which was the Axis' code for encrypting messages. And when he cracked it, he invented that machine right there, which was essentially a computer. And they had to keep it secret, otherwise the Germans and Axis powers would have changed their coding, which would have changed the whole face of the war. So by having that machine there, he was able to crack the encrypted messages. It basically has a series of magnets and gears, and it changes the code at the right setting to disencrypt the message. And then on the left, that's the atomic bomb Batman. That's one of the atomic bombs dropped on Japan. And Hitler's suicide. Basically, the Soviets had invaded Germany, and they were closing in on Berlin. And Hitler was told that within 24 hours they would have lost the war because they were running low on ammunition. So him and his wife of 40 hours went into their bunker, and it's hard to say because the Russians were kind of changing the story, but it said that he took a cyanide capsule and then he self-inflicted a gunshot wound to himself, and then him and his wife both died. That's a picture of one of the bombs dropped on Japan. So the impact of the World War II was that basically an entire generation was killed. All of the mostly young men from that time, 18 to 25, they were pretty much all wiped out or wounded. And then there was also the fear of nuclear fallout, which they were scared of the atomic bombs because they'd never seen them before. And after World War II, they created different policies to limit the use of nuclear weapons against civilian population. And then the World War II helped the U.S. out of the Depression because they had to create jobs to help support the war. So basically all the factories for tanks, weapons, and planes, it employed pretty much everyone in America. So no one was without a job because everyone had to do something to help support the cause. And the nuclear arms race, everyone saw that what the U.S. was capable of, and they wanted to build up their own nuclear weapons, so if there ever was a war, they could retaliate. Video here.
We're just going to play the first 5 minutes because it's starting yesterday.
Go 5 minutes into that.
This is like a video of post-war America.
So there's the chord.
Just play it on the speaker.
called the Atomic Age and the Fabulous 50s. Swept away was the free mood of the war years. This was an era when Americans had fun. This joyful mood came in part from the robust post-war economy. Factories were churning out products to satisfy the growing consumer appetite in America and to meet the needs of a post-war Europe. The defense industry kept military supplies flowing in reaction to the Cold War. And the nation was building, spread up in the cities and far out into the country. America's economy was the biggest in the world. With job security, a good paycheck, and no military responsibilities, many the time was right to settle down and get married. Millions rushed to the altar, sending marriage rates to an all-time high. Home builders anticipated the needs of newlyweds and young families. They built new suburbs that appealed to countless first-time home buyers. Eager families left urban areas in droves to enjoy modern homes with the latest time-saving conveniences. Among the most famous housing developments were the Levittown communities. Navy builder William Levitt took what he had worked and $58 a month could buy a two-bedroom, one-bath house with modern amenities, well within the reach of the new middle class. The 1950s home was the home for family life. There, women devoted their time to being good wives and mothers. The role of cheerful homemaker was strongly encouraged, even idealized in media images. More than any other decade, motherhood was embraced. Between 1945 and 1964, roughly 76 million babies were born in the United States. Collectively, baby boomers, it is the largest generation in the nation's history. Unlike earlier generations, this one came with a guidebook, Dr. Benjamin Spock's Common Sense Book of Baby and Child Care. In it, Dr. Spock suggested parents relax and have fun with their kids. His influence made children the center of the 1950s household. In the suburbs, families could live a seemingly idyllic life. No manicured lawns, safety for children, fun leisure activities, and good neighbors that all fit right in. With their own post office, schools, shopping centers, and places of worship, there was no need or desire to return to the crowds and complexities of cities. Not everyone was pleased with the growth. Urban planners warned against unchecked sprawl and wasting natural resources.
Right, so we'll watch the balance of that next time, okay? And I'll hook up the speakers. We don't have them hooked up right. Let me stop this.